Right, so as you guys can see on the futures, we are up pre-market. So let's take a look at the daily chart. So you'll see there was a bounce off the 9 EMA. Now we got to watch and see, is it going to clear that 3130s level and continue above, or is it going to fail that level and form a double top and then come back down? So, again, just like I've been showing you guys and what we teach, follow these moving average lines as a guide. They're not foolproof, but just because, again, the market pulls back doesn't mean we're in a recession or the market's going to crash. It means market's at all-time highs, it's going to pull back. Got to watch these patterns. When price starts failing these moving average lines, and the moving average lines start curling and heading downwards, and price starts falling below and closing below, kind of like you see down in these areas, that's when things get bearish. Just because something's bearish doesn't mean it's a recession, So just, remember, guys, stocks run with the market. So if the market goes up, many times the stocks will go up with it. If the market goes down, stocks typically run down with it. But then when you have little doji candles and they trade sideways, that's when it is not very fun to trade. If you're a directional trader, that's where you'd want to do things like spreads, stuff like that. I have an echo in my mic. Does anybody else hear an echo? Test, 1, 2, 3. Shouldn't be an echo. No echo for you. No. Try resetting or logging out and logging back in if you have an echo. So log out of the trade room, come back in if you... Or get new speakers. All right, guys. So let's take a look here. A couple from the watch list, then we'll look at trade ideas. So DMPI. This is one we're, again, just kind of going with the theme, guys. We put stocks on our watch list that are kind of holding their highs for a potential continuation day or a pattern breakout. Many times, if they don't break out that next day, give it a day or two. Then many times they pull back a couple candles before they launch. So again, with DMPI, you can see there's a daily gap right here. So we're going to see if this can clear. Actually, it was pre-market. If I go to pre-market highs today, you'll see 114. It's pre-market high. So at this point, it kind of has a head and shoulders or double top pattern. So at this point, you want to see, is it going to stay and hold red to green and get above 114? If it can get above 114, watch and see if it'll go up to fill the gap around 150s. At the moment, it's looking kind of bearish. So again, what I do, guys, is I kind of just see what I do here. I just kind of detach some screens right here, and then I just kind of, I have these up on watch and see what runs. I want to see volume come in. I'm looking for those bull flags. I'm looking for pre-market high and then previous high of day to break and hold, and then see if we have bull flags to continue up. So, so right now, DMPI is kind of failing, looking bearish. Clovis might be looking to go bullish. So that will be the next one I'm going to look at is Clovis, CLVS. So this one right here, you can see this one, again, a bit overextended. There's a second daily gap right up here, 950 to 1050-ish area. I'm just reading the comments. So 950 to 1050 area. Awesome. What's up, Rose? So 950 to 1050. See if this one will continue up. So right here, you guys can see possibly if it can hold and get above 915, then look, between 950 to 1050. See if this will go up into the gap. So you can see it's kind of, you can connect these valleys right in here. Kind of like that, right? So, kind of just connect these peaks and valleys. And as you guys can see, it's kind of going in an uptrend right now. You can, see maybe it'll fall back down, see if the buyers come back in, see if it can go back up. You guys see, connect these peaks and these valleys, and then you kind of have this, this upper channel that it's moving. See if it can break out. Again, look at 950 to 1050 resistance. So Clovis we'll keep an eye on. BlackBerry, that's another one. Needs, again, remember guys, at open, you want to see volume come in. You'd like to see at least a few 100,000 volume. So you'll see many times our watch list doesn't have much volume at first, and then it picks up a little while later when the market opens and stuff. So, you know, you want volume to come in. So just because something breaks out, if it only has 10,000 volume, that doesn't mean it's a good thing, right? So you want to see volume come in, get at least a few 100,000 volume, and get the momentum to push price up. What's up, John? Good morning. So with BlackBerry, this one, it's another one right here that I'm looking to see. Is it going to kind of do a breakout above that 574 area? If so, there is a daily gap above here, you know, so we'll see if this will grind on up, get above that $6 level. So at this point, you want to see it clear that 575 area. And you can see possible cut pattern. So we'll see if these, again, these are ones from the watch list you like to see. You know, I just, like I showed you guys, that multiple chart setup, see if volume comes in, and price will get pushed up. Let's take a look at trade ideas. Let's see. Guys, just to show you guys here, on our website every day on bullishbears.com, right under tools, we post trade ideas morning gappers here. That's why it's really good to have a combination of our watch list ones as well as trade ideas, because trade ideas in the morning shows you the ones that have the movement pre-market. So that's why you'll notice many a times with our watch list, again, they don't get a lot of volume pre-market. That's why you might have to wait, sit back a little bit, let the patterns form, and then one or two of them will have some decent volume for a potential breakout. But in the meantime, it's also good to have trade ideas pre-market ones going, because then you can see right over in here, again, bookmark this page and check it every morning right here, because we post, you'll see when the date changes, Dan updates us every day, and you'll see the pre-market runners. And so all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to kind of go see which ones to keep an eye on that has some volume and what might be moving pre-market. So that one right there, AQST, might be one to keep an eye on. So let's see what that one's doing. So this one has a head and shoulders at the moment. So that's where, you know, this gapped up to 833 pre-market. You can see kind of a left shoulder around 787. And now it's starting to fail, you know, right down 717 area. Let's look at the daily where it is. So right there, no surprise it's rejecting right over here at that previous peak level. So, you know, you have some resistance right between these, that 792 to 837 area. So this is where, again, I'll put this on one of those charts. I'll kind of keep an eye on it to the side, see if it'll reverse. Right now, again, kind of a head and shoulders pattern. But, you know, again, it can fail. It might do a reversal. Just be aware of, like, left shoulder resistance, kind of head area. And, yeah, so that's AQST. Let's take a look at see, DMPI from our watch list is creeping there. What's this one? Tiger, T-I-G-R. Is it Tyga or like Tiger Woods? Could be either one, Tiger Woods or Tyga. Is he still with Kylie Jenner? Anybody know? All right, so Tiger or Tyga had gapped up to 513 pre-market. Now this is kind of doing a double top failure. Look for some support around here, that 388 area. Let's look at the daily. You know, kind of see that, guys? See how I marked it out pre-market? And then look where it is, right? Some support right around the 20 EMA on the daily, and then there was resistance at the 50 SMA on the daily, right? So that's where, you know, no coincidence, guys. Support resistance patterns. Very, very important. So Tyga is a little bit bearish. Let's take a look at some of the large caps from the watch. Let's see what they're doing. Fiend's favorite, Roku. So you can see some resistance to that 165, 163, 160. You guys see these peak levels? Peak, peak, peak. That's going to be resistance, right? And then you can see some support in these areas down here. So ideally, you want to see price push up, continue up, and then be aware of these resistance areas if price continues up. Look at the daily. You know, you see there was kind of a possible pennant or symmetrical triangle pattern. So we're going to see if this one can get some volume and go and break out. So you kind of had that doji candle. It's a little bit further away from the moving average lines. So you want to see, again, can it break out above these levels and continue up? Nike has kind of a cup and handle right there on the daily. You can see that handle if you guys watch the watch list video that I did. See if this can break out, and then look at these resistance levels above. And then with Nike, you can see it's creeped up a little bit. You know, these ones, many times there's not much volume. It kind of gets those kind of no volume candles. It gaps up a little bit, and then you got to watch and see what happens. So at this point, want to see if volume can come in, and you can see some resistance levels up here with Nike right around 94, 94.50. You know, so let's see kind of potentially breaking out of this channel here, and then, you know, you can kind of, there was a falling wedge kind of breaking out. Now we'll see if this will continue up, and then these would be, you know, resistance levels above. Baidu, who used to say that? One of the guys in our group in the past, I think, used to love Baidu. So Baidu, it's up a little bit pre-market, 119.55. Let me look at the daily. And another kind of bigger, kind of cup and handle-ish or inverse head and shoulders-ish. If it can clear that 119.73 and get above 120 area. So just be aware, guys. Again, you know, these I'm not seeing anything like I love right now because, you know, remember, just going back to the beginning of the stream, markets at all-time highs. You kind of have this small little candle pre-market. You know, it could be doji indecision at all-time highs. You know, ideally, if you're going bullish on something, you want to see it kind of going up like this, right? This is a nice trend up. Or if you're bearish, you know, you like to see, you know, market falling like this. When you start getting these sideways candles, like, you know, like stuff like this, it's indecision, right? And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. And this is where you got to be very careful and go for little small scalps when trading. So that's why right now I'm not really liking any of these setups at the moment. Trade room peeps, let's see who's talking over there. Yeah. Brizzo, Kylie Jenner. Yeah, so guys, if you're new to our trade room, just like here's later. We're not pumpers and dumpers. We don't pump up stocks to people. We're showing you, this is where, if you just watch our streams, like all, you know, pretty much all day long, you're seeing us call the areas of support and resistance and showing you the patterns. We're talking nonstop. You know, we're not taking large positions and saying, hey guys, I just entered Clovis. Don't enter and follow my trades, wink, wink, right? It's the wink, wink. Don't mirror trade me. Don't mirror trade me. I just got my position in DM or, you know, Clovis. Don't follow me in, wink, wink, knowing that our followers are going to follow us in, and then we pump and dump to you. We don't do that. So we're just teaching you the stuff, the good and the bad. We'll see today, guys, if it's one of those sideways days. I'm going to show you why things look crappy. If it's going good, I'll show you why it's good. If it's going bad, I'll show you why it's going bad. We'll show you potential entry areas, potential exit areas, but we're not prumping. I might coin this term. I might have to coin the term brokerage account hero. That's what I came up with. My annoying arrogance came up with a brokerage account hero. That's the ones that the chat room pumpers that have $100,000+ brokerage accounts, they buy 10,000 share positions, they scalp 10 cents, they dump to you, they make $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 that day, and then they're the brokerage account heroes, right? They're the ones on YouTube that they have the big thumbnails with big smiley faces, thumbs up that they made 10 grand that day. Meanwhile, they just pumped up a low float stock, dumped it on their members, and so they're brokerage account heroes, right? I'm gonna go to see how many people I can piss off today and get to quit. Nice Monday morning. See how many people I can piss off. All right. Let's see. SRNE. Let me take a look at that one. Hey, yeah. It's kind of got the ride the 9 there, but then you got this wacky big flagpole candle. These are ones you got to be very careful of right here. You know, it can ride the 9 and it can easily dump. So let's look at the daily or where it's going on there. Right, again, right, guys? So you're wondering what's happening. Why is it kind of pulled back at right there? That black line is the 200 SMA. No surprise, right? So it smacked up to that 200 SMA, came back down. Now let's see if it holds these kind of support levels, 238, 204. Let's go to the 5-minute. Yeah. So we'll have to see how things shake out this morning. How's everybody doing? Any questions, comments? Jan, let me see. Is that Jan you said? Tom Brady. So people on YouTube, we have, oh, Jan, that's a nice looking, that one's moving up nicely. We have a chat room, guys, on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, this is a delayed stream. We have a live chat room, so you'll hear me talking to other, not to myself. I'm talking to people in our trade room. We give kind of sneak previews live for people many a times during the week, just so you can see what's going on. So Jan, this one's interesting. That one's up pre-market. Let's take a look into that one. So this is kind of like what we like to see. We want to see, will it give a flag pullback, or is it just going to dump and just smack back down? You can see 750 will be important resistance level. Let's kind of take a look down in the daily where that puts us. Way up here. So this one obviously has a history of pumping and dumping. It's an extremely low floater, guys. These ones right here, this is where I'll trigger somebody this morning. These are, when I see these, it triggers me to say FU pattern. If you're new, FU is exactly what it sounds like. It means FU, newbies. I like to call new traders newbies. That means right up here, this is the chat room pumpers, the brokerage account heroes. They pump it up here, and then they say, look, take your knuckles right here, flip them around, flick off the screen, FU, because the newbies bought at the top, and then they dump on you. That's an FU pattern. Pump and dump. Great way to make money. Great way to lose a lot of money. That's where you got to find the flags and kind of drill down on these and see, let them pull back. As you can see, this, you know, thing's moving up from 360 to 730. It's crazy. Now we're kind of going to zoom in. It's bouncing off that 9 EMA and a 5. Let the pattern set up. Let's go to a 1-minute chart. So this is where you got to be very careful. See how big these candles are, guys? 630 up to 697. These are huge candles. You're looking for just what I've been showing you guys. If you've been following, this is the stuff you're looking for right here. These bull flags. You want to look for stuff like this. Flag up, back, risk off this little candle here. When it breaks out, take your profits. Let it consolidate back down, like something like this. When it holds, you guys see how quick it is? Breaks out, take your profits. Comes back down in like this. You know, you get in something like this, it breaks out, take your profits. See these bull flags? And then, so you guys can see, in the pre-market, it looks great. And then at open, it looks crappy. That's common, right? So you've got to let these things shake out. Many times they go up, they come back to support levels. They might find a cup pattern before they reverse and go back up. All right, let me see. Clovis is creeping up. I might take a look at that one in a second. Let me just read your comments. BlackBerry broke out and then is pulling back. Let me go to YouTube peeps. I'll get to you guys in a moment. See, this is kind of like what I like to, see. Is it going to slowly creep? Let this thing see if it'll break out, right? So kind of with Clovis, it's slowly gaining some volume. It's creeping up now. Now watch and see. Is it going to hold at 915? Watch for a bull flag. Many times it'll break out and you'll miss it. That's okay. Don't chase. See if it breaks out. Retest 915 and gives you a potential bull flag. Pedro, remind me, I'll look at weed stocks in a moment. I just want to see with Clovis if it's going to have a retest of 915. So this is important, guys. When a stock breaks important resistance levels, if you don't get an entry before it breaks out, this is where you don't chase it at the top. Watch for confirmation and see if it gives you a bull flag. Many times you'll miss it, and I'll just keep going. Like right now, it just keeps going up. So I'll have to watch it. Don't chase. If you don't get in pre-breakout, watch for the retest. If you miss the run, then you just sit on your hands. Don't chase it. Does that make sense? Because many times the stock will break a resistance level or a pre-market high and then it'll dump back down. So you can see it's a bit far from the 9 EMA and it's still continuing up. So if you didn't get in pre-breakdown here, you got to wait. Don't chase up here. So you guys see this thing breaking out? It's far away from the moving average lines. So wait for a pullback. DMPI is dumping. AQST is at the base of a head and shoulders. BlackBerry BB might be pushing up. All right, so guys, see resistance right here. Remember I told you right below 950, that's the base of that daily gap, right? So before, I'm going to take a look at a couple weed stocks for Pedro in 1 second. But keep an eye on this. So there's a couple ways to trade this, right? So guys, if you're a scalper, you want to get in, get out, that's where you're looking at this 1 minute chart looking for a potential bull flag. If you want to slow day trading down a bit, pull up a 5 minute chart, right? Slow it down, let the 5 minute form, and look, see, it's breaking out of angular resistance back here. Now it's retesting. So you can see it's far away from the moving average lines. Let this thing pull back. So if you're a 5 minute chart person, you're going to let this thing pull up, see if it comes back and forms a bull flag and lets that 9 EMA catch up and bull flags for a break of 950. But, that's many times if you're waiting for the 5 minute setup, it takes forever. But at the same time, it's better managing of your risk because you have the intraday setup on a 5 minute chart and not overextended. If you're trading on a 1 minute chart and you get a bull flag, the longer you're in that trade, you'll see if you get in up here and it breaks out and you don't take your profits up here, it could still continue up, or you could see this and it could just come smacking right back down, and then you could give up, 914 to 940 profits. It's 30 cents. This thing could easily go from 940 and smack right back down, right? So that's where if you're trading these 1 minute charts, consider taking your profits as it's breaking out. So again, with Clovis, I'm watching to see if it'll bull flag, let this 9 EMA catch up and continue to break. See if it'll go and break out. Again, that I would look really at that 950 level. I'm just going to put that up there because those whole and half dollar amounts are very, very important. And so as you guys can see, right, it's kind of going up and now it's kind of smacking back down. So sometimes, again, with these ones that go a little bit crazier, you don't get a really great flag to trade. So that's where you got to contend with these wicks. So let's watch this one for a second. Then just remind me, I'll look at, let me pull up on one of my other stocks, on my other screens real quick. I'm going to pull up ACB. That's a Canadian pot stock. Pedro, is there a specific symbol you want me to look at? I'll take a look at MYND too, Scotty. So right here, this is where I'm looking at these guys right here, right? So this is where you start looking. If you're a 1 minute, scalper, you start looking, okay, is this going to be a flag? Is it going to bounce? If so, and that bounces off that 9 EMA, if it breaks out of that 930, Now you have resistance around 940 and 950. If it breaks out, that's where you got to decide. Are you going to take your profits on a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart? You can see this is the stuff you start to look for, right? As it's starting, it's slowly creeping. Now you can see many times it's breaking above that 930. You know, if you took a risk off that 930, you could use a candle close below that 950 as a stop. But just be aware, when it bounces off these, it gets a little bit crazier, right? So you got to be very quick, and you know, it gets a little bit riskier. I like to see cleaner bull flags. And you'll see, like right here, it's showing some weakness right around that 930. Is that 930 going to hold and continue up, or is it going to end up failing? And that's where you can see, again, it's still a bit further away from that 9 EMA. So if you were trading something like this and you got in a break of that 930, you could use a candle below, a close below that 925 as a stop, or that 9 EMA. You guys see how it shakes you out many times right here? It's not very clean. CGC. Oh, that's So right now, this one's showing some weakness with Clovis right here. This is where you want to see it closer to that 9 EMA right here. You can see it shakes out a little bit. It hasn't failed yet. And right here, see what happens many times, guys? It goes up, creeps up, smacks back down. You don't have a candle close yet below that 925. Now see if it's a green candle hold here. And if it can hold 930. You guys see? You guys seeing this? Making sense to you guys? Just remember, guys, a bull flag's a bull flag. If you're not a 1 minute setup person, you know, look at a 5 minute. If you can't you're not like a day trader or an intraday setup person, just look for this on a daily, right? So it's just a bull flag's a bull flag. It's just, you got to look at the float of the stock, just a lot more volatile the lower the float. So that's where you'll get a lot more of this choppiness, like really quick up and down with lower floats. Clovis is a medium kind of float stock, but it does kind of it has lots of volatility to it. So on a 5 minute chart, let's look at Clovis. And so you can see, guys, maybe, right? So you see this reversal here. It's a bit away from the 9 EMA. It's at resistance. Watch and see if it forms a bull flag on a 5 minute and breaks out. But this is where you can see the level. The reason why the 1 minute is really volatile. Look at the doji candles on a 5. CGC, that's Canada's darling pot stock. The darlings of the pot stock industry. So guys, again, this is the stuff you want to see in live market. You want to see stuff like this break out and then taking your profits. But as you can see in the market now that's open here on a 5 minute, candles are much bigger, right? You're looking for like these. Stock goes up, comes back, breaks out. You know, again, hindsight's 20/20, right? As long as it breaks out over here, then you got to consider taking your profits. Many times these ones will shake you out a little bit like this, and then they go and dump. That's why proper risk management is absolutely key. But this is where, again, you know, when the market opens, you got to let these patterns play out. You can see this kind of this dark cloud cover smacking right back down with CGC. Let's see where it is on a daily setup. So right here, it's caught between, you have kind of a cup and handle-ish pattern, possible flag-ish pattern. It's a little bit choppy at the moment. But look at, this has been. So this is, guys, this is the whole point, right? This is what gets me to get all fired up. You guys hear these sectors like pot stocks, they're running, right? Oh my gosh, Canadian pot stocks. I got to buy and hold long term. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to become a marijuana millionaire, right? But then there's that whole buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Buy low, sell high. The rumor, you go back over, in these areas right here, the rumor's going, pumps up. There's probably news catalysts with a lot of this stuff, right? Pot stocks are running, Canada's running, dump right back down. Pot stocks are running, pump it up, they get everybody in over here, and then the newbie, right? The newbie trader is dumping their life savings at a top at $59. They're taking their hard-earned money that they saved on their job, right, guys? Your secret account you're hiding from your wife with the money in it. You're reading Bloomberg or MSNBC, or you're on Twitter and you hear marijuana is going to go legalized in Canada. So you're going to say, hey, let me take that 20 grand I have hidden from my wife and let me dump it into this awesome Canadian pot stock. And then you bought at the top of a dark cloud cover. And then you start freaking out and panicking when it starts selling off down here. You start sweating. You don't know what you're doing. It pops back up. And then meanwhile, you're over here, like right here. You're just panicking. Doesn't go back up to 59 and you're just holding all the way down. Now you bought at $59. Now it's at $19. Sucks, right? That's why if you don't know what the heck you're doing, you don't know patterns, this is how people blow up their accounts. They don't know patterns. They buy rumors like Bitcoin right here. They buy Bitcoin over here, /BTC. Right? How many guys put all their money in their top of their life savings right up here, blow up their account, and look at it. Right? Connect the peaks, connect the valleys. You want to know what Bitcoin's going to do? Let's go look. Right here. It's at the base of angular support. Buyers are coming in right now. Does this mean Bitcoin's going to the moon and you're going to become a Bitcoin millionaire? I don't know. All I know is you got to see, is price going to clear angular resistance, support and resistance? Anybody that tells you Bitcoin doesn't follow the charts is an idiot. If you think you're just going to get rich off of buying anywhere on Bitcoin and you don't know support and resistance, you're an idiot. I mean, it's just true, guys, right? I mean, if you're telling me like you don't know, like, that, Bitcoin or everything follows a chart. Bottom line, Bitcoin, pot stocks, all of it follow charts. At this point, if Bitcoin's right here, you have a possible hammer off angular support, and you can see these moving average lines as resistance. If it breaks out, then look at these other previous peak levels as resistance. Don't listen to hype and news. Follow the charts. So again, Bitcoin and pot stocks, as you can see, they're just very volatile, pumped up sectors. They pump and then they dump. To show you guys as well, right over here on our site, if you guys look right under here under lists, pay attention to this stock sectors list. We have, some of the more popular sectors: pot stocks, Bitcoin, oil, gold, tech, consumer staples. When a sector is running, first of all, we have a lot of the symbols over here. Like if you're like, hey, pot stocks are running, number one, that doesn't mean go and buy them. Go over here. I want to show you, the reason why I'm showing you guys this is not because we're pumping up the symbols over here, but because down here, there's a really great video that teaches you, so I don't go off on an entire rant this morning, how to trade pot stocks. It really goes into that pump and dump volatility that I was just showing you and how to trade on the chart. So make sure you watch that video, as well as same thing with Bitcoin. It's just the same video or similar video. Go over to this one. So if you want to trade Bitcoin, if the Bitcoin sector's running, here's the crappy stocks with Bitcoin over here. Again, you can make really good money. However, you got to know how to trade them. If you want to know how to trade them, watch this video. This is basically, both those videos will teach you how to trade small cap, low float sectors. So basically what I'm teaching you this morning with, the goods and the bads of penny stocks, those two videos are really going to teach you, really how to trade small cap stocks, low floaters in general. It just shows you, because the Bitcoin and pot stock sector pump and dump like crazy, they're really good videos to help you. So take a look at those if you want to learn how to trade volatile sectors. MYOV, let me see, Scotty. I see the name Scotty, and it reminds me of, I'm a wrestling fan. You remember the wrestler Scotty Too Hotty? from back in the day. And then there was buff is the stuff. Who said that? Cool, EMM. That's awesome. Nadine, what's up? So MYOV. So let's take a look at MYOV. Let me just reset the charts here. So you can see there was a gap right here on the daily, right around that 1679, 14 to 1679. Got to be very careful, guys. So with this chart, you know, this thing is, you know, if it breaks 15, you know, look at, you have these high wave candles right here. This thing breaks out. Could it break 17? Yes. Could it easily fall back to 11? Yes. So it's out in no man's land. I personally hate trading stuff like this. I want to find, again, it all goes down to what I keep teaching you guys: support, resistance, patterns. Find the bull flags, right? Stock goes up, pulls back down. Ideally, I'd like to see a cleaner candle than that high wave. You know, I'd like to see, you know, so stuff like this, guys, right? Sometimes you don't get the cleanest of flags. That's why you got to have risk management, where if a stock, you know, flag pull up, comes back down. If the stock breaks above this candle, if you were to risk on it, you could use a candle close below that as your stop. Once it breaks out, right here, consider taking your profits, right? You know, something like this as it breaks out. I don't like that one as much. I want more cleaner entries. But this is the stuff you're looking for, guys. This is the daily chart. Go intraday. Let's go see what's running right now. We can just go to, now that the market's been open for a little bit, the patterns have been forming. You know, I'm looking at DMPI, bear flaggings, Clovis. Maybe Clovis might be doing a symmetrical triangle. Let's take a look at that one, and then we'll see what else is running. So, all right, so Clovis, this is one to keep an eye on right now. Now it's pulling back to the 9 EMA. Got to be careful these wicks right in here, but it's forming a potentially a possible symmetrical triangle. You guys see that? So at this point, you want to see, is the 9 EMA going to hold? Give you a smaller candle to risk off of. If you were to look at something like this, you want to see it break out and then get above a high of day, right? And then that 950. So if you're looking at Clovis on a 5-minute, you know, let that, you know, let it form, see if it holds. Then you got to decide, okay, you know, if I get a smaller candle, 930 down to 922, am I willing to risk off of that 5-minute candle, seeing resistance at 940 and 950, and then some support around 916. You guys see, you got to, like, just because this thing's running or moving up, what is your risk management? What are you willing to risk? On a 5-minute setup, just because it's a symmetrical triangle and it's above the moving average lines doesn't mean it's going to go and break out. You know, you can see it's kind of doing that roller coaster effect in there. So at this point, let that 5-minute candle form. And then, see, you guys see as I'm talking, that candle's going up and down, right? Zoom into a 5-minute or a 1-minute, right? And so as you guys can see the upper and lower trend lines are forming here. And so now that's where, me personally, it hasn't formed that 5-minute candle yet. And, you know, it's a little bit too risky for me. So I would let that 5-minute candle form. Now DMPI, that one may be going red to green. So let's take a look at that one. Oh, nice, Scotty. Got your bullish bear shirt on? Let me show it. I got my Bullish Bears hat on right now. Let me take a look at LB for Pedro. So as you guys can see right here with Clovis, I'm not liking it. Remember, I like bull flags. You know, other people might like just cup and handles, or they might like head and shoulders, stuff like that. I'm trying to find bull flags. If I'm not finding bull flags, I'm not touching it. Or small candles right here, like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of symmetrical triangles. I'm looking for those bull flags. So I'm sitting on my hands. You know, I wouldn't be doing that one. LB, that's my initials. So this right here, you can see pre-market high 1833 might be going to break it, but then you can see, oh, is this going to be forming an ascending triangle, or is it a head, left shoulder, right shoulder, head and shoulders? Needs to clear that 1833. You guys see head, left shoulder, possible right shoulder. If it can't clear 1833, now you have a possible head and shoulders. And daily right here, no coincidence, guys, right? Very important resistance level. If that doesn't break, then you can have a 1, 2, 3 triple top. So you could look at this and someone say, oh, that's an ascending triangle. Another person could say, well, that's a triple top, right? So bottom line, you want to see it clear that 1830s level and hold. You need to see it hold. And then you can see, guys, right in here, on a daily, if it doesn't break, now you have possible tweezer tops, right? So this is where you don't trade off of emotions. You got to look at the patterns, use them as a guide, drill down intraday, you know, and see what's going on here. You know, you can see, okay, that's a head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Doesn't mean it's going to fail. You just want to see, is it going to break 1833? Watch and see if it gives a possible flag hold off that 9 EMA on a 5-minute. Gives you a clean entry, you know, a nice flag pull for a possible break of 1833. So at this moment, not a huge fan of it. Well, let me go back to DMPI that I was saying for you guys. So DMPI, you can see this one sold off, got back above the 200 SMA. And does anybody know, is DPMI halted? I don't have trade ideas pulled up right now. I have so many screens going. Can somebody tell me if DPMI is halted or DMPI? So you can see that orange dotted line is red to green. So at this, or previous close, it's not red to green yet. This is previous close. If price can get above those orange dotted lines, then you have a possible red to green. But, oh, it's halted? Halted up on the way up. So at this point, guys, you want to see, is it going to clear, you know, gets a little trickier in here, these areas right here. Can it clear that 110-ish area? You know, so at this point, remember too, guys, DMPI, very low float. Pumps and dumps. The volatility of anything under 20 million is very low float. Pumps and dumps very quickly. So you want to see, is it going to get above that 110 area and clear that 114? And Scotty just said it was halted. There it goes. Yes, so it is halted. So, guys, don't chase halts. You know, just don't do it. You know, buy at support, sell at resistance. Buy low, sell high, right? So let's, you know, watch for... See if I can find a... Remind me to pull up DMP or DPMI. It's halted now. So again, guys, if you look at it, you want to see, is it going to clear 110? If you get, like, let's say this goes up, gives you a small little candle for a possible flag around 110, then you might consider, will you risk off of that for a possible break above 114? And then if you see 114 fail, you would consider getting out. But just remember, it could give you a small candle off 110 and also smack down very quickly as well. Look for those bull flags. Again, we'll look at some other ones and see. Oh, see that? Right now. So now it's right caught. There we go. So let's watch this for a second. Let's watch how this plays out. You guys see those high wave candles? This is where you have to be careful because I guarantee you right now, a lot of people, let me just, this is probably hitting scanners right now, probably hitting trade ideas. And is this hitting trade ideas right now, guys? Can someone tell me? Oh, it was on the halt scan, right? So obviously it's going to catch people's attention. Sneaking up possible red to green so you could have a chat room member talking about it. And that's why we say, guys, don't just buy because some chat room person is telling you, oh, let's, like, just because I'm looking at DMPI doesn't mean you should buy it, right? You want to see how this high wave candle is forming? That's a 5 minute, by the way. Shoot, let me go to a 1. Right there. Nasty. Now, at this point right here, this is what happens, guys. This is hotkeys right here. If somebody goes red to green on this thing, they're banging their hotkeys in and out. Bam, bam. In and out. So at this point, if you're looking at DMPI, reset, be calm, don't chase, and now look at pre-market high. You want to see it hold that 115 and then look at 150 if it'll close the gap. This thing's going to go up or down very quickly. Small little pause right here. And look, didn't even give you a hold. Didn't even give you a chance. At this point now, it's all risk. So very important support levels 115, but remember, this thing's going to pump or it's going to dump. It's going to go either way. So look at that daily I told you guys right around that 150s. If you are new, you do not buy out here. Even if this thing goes, and this may go from 125 to 150, and you could say, you told me not to buy out there. It's just terrible risk management. You want to buy at these small candles near support. If you miss it, you don't chase because this is the crap that happens. This is either going to hold and then smack way up or it's just going to dump right back down. It's going to do one or the other. So we're going to watch it play out. Brady, it hit the momentum, the Momo scanner. So this is where, as you guys can see, guys, right smacking back down. See that? It can go either way, but this is where you guys can see there's not clear flag patterns, right? It may bounce and hold off 115. Let's watch and see. But you have to be quick. If you were to risk off that 115 level, if you waited for a candle close below, your candles close below could be way down here. You guys see how these candles are much bigger? They're not small candles like these little hammers. So this one could go either way. It can smack and dump below, or it can form a quick move and break out. I'm just showing you guys the volatility of these low floaters. And look, see that? Right, either way. At this point, let's see if this 9 EMA, if it'll hold. Remember, see that? Dumping right back down. So you guys see that? It may still go and break out, but this is what happens with these low floaters. Many a times, if they do form a flag, it's not clean, So you can look at this and be like, okay, let me just kind of zoom in. It's bouncing off the 9 EMA now. Now let's watch this. What the hell? My drawings keep messing up on Thinkorswim. There we go. Kind of watch this right here. You guys see bouncing off the 9 EMA, but it's bigger candles, right? If this thing goes and breaks out, this is where a chat room person might get in at the break of 115. By the time you went, if this thing goes and breaks above 115, by the time they call out that entry, they might be banging their hotkey on the way out, buying at the top. This could go either way. This is where, don't look and be like, oh, it's a bull flag, I'm going to buy. Price has to get out of that 115, and then you want to see if it's going to clear that 125. You guys see this? So, if you zoom out, this may possibly, you could say, oh, possible cup and handle. See how it's dumping? Right back down. Pumps, dumps. That's where, again, that 115, very important support level. when you zoom in on a 5-minute, you'll see the 5-minute chart. Huge candle, flag pulls up, smacks right back down to moving average lines. Pump and then dump. So I could bet money, right? You probably had a chat rooms around the world, hits the scanner. The moment it hits trade ideas, they bang their hotkeys in at $1.05. Their chat room members follow them in, gets caught in a halt because somebody, these new traders don't know what the hell a halt is. So they buy in the moment the halt opens back up because they don't know what's going on, because the guru that has the huge brokerage account got in the trade. And by the time it opens back up, guru bangs the hotkeys. They just made 20 cents off that trade. And right up here, the newbie buys their shares up here, smacks it right back down here. That's how the game works, guys. This is the game. Hotkey in, bang the hotkey out. New traders buy out here. I wouldn't buy down here, but if a guru took this on a red to green, bam, bam, they're out within a minute or two. New trader buys up here and just their guru sells them their shares right up here. Meanwhile, guru buys 10,000 shares times 2. What was that? 20 cents. That's $2,000. Guru made 2,000. New trader lost money. Is this making sense to you guys? Is this helping you guys? Is everybody awake out there today? Now, watch it reset. So now, it might be moving again. Now, be aware of these left shoulders and this head. Now, kind of right here again. That 150, actually go back to 115. I would actually I'd put it right in. Where's pre-market high? Right up there on that 115. And then see how it kind of scrolls up these levels here. And you can see that kind of high wave candle. So you kind of have a head and shoulders pattern. Think of a possible right shoulder in this area here. So see if it pumps up. What's up, Andrew? How's it going? Let me look at the 5-minute. So, guys, if you're trying to do 5-minute setup, so here's like my style, guys. I am not a low floater. I don't like low floaters. I just don't. I love patterns. I love bull flags. On low floaters, you get maybe one bull flag, and that's about it. Second one, usually much more difficult. Third one, just forget it. You're up against everybody in the world, right? But if you love low floaters, look for the bull flags, right? So if I'm looking at a bull flag on this one right here, there's no bull flag for me. I wouldn't have traded this at all, right? That's just me. Doesn't mean you can't make money on it. I'm looking again for those bull flags, so nothing there that I like. Let's look at today, this morning. Let's see what's running. See if there's any bull flags to take a look at. Let's look at Jan. Remember, right? Remember I was showing you guys, look at this pre-market. That's a bull flag. You guys see how that one's, this is my perfect example, guys, right? You guys can see that's a nice bull flag right here. That's a beautiful one. You guys see how it gets more difficult out here? This one surprisingly gave you a little bit better one over here. But again, this is pre-market, not real world. But this is what will happen, right? If you get one good entry in the morning, then you'll see everybody's looking at it over here. Pretend like the market's open right now. This is where it's hitting trade ideas. Everybody's seeing it. You might get another one right here you can see where this one's not as great. You're lucky if you get a really good third one. But typically you'll see this, like everybody's looking at it, right? And so, here it is at pre-market. And what does it do? Head, left shoulder, right shoulder. And it's just head and shoulders failure. And now it's just bear flagging. So Jan is bear flagging. If anybody wants to know what a bear flag looks like and what that means, you guys just take a look here again, right? Goes up, here's a bull flag. Breaks out, take your profits. Stock, small little candles off the moving average lines, When it breaks out, consider taking your profits, right? Bear flag is just the inverse of a bull flag. So if you're going bearish on a stock, look for a stock to break down and form bear flags. Now you can see at the open, a lot more volatile because, it's the open. What's going to happen? You can see all these candle wicks and it gets just bat bleep crazy, right? So it's a lot more difficult to trade these when it's, getting this craziness over here. You're looking a little bit more like this, right? So a stock, it's falling, moves back to the moving average lines, smacks off these moving average lines and falls down. Again, this one's still a little bit choppier. The ones I personally like the most are ones like this. See how it's a lot smaller and cleaner? You see how those candles are a lot more smaller and easier to kind of see than the crazy choppiness of these. Now you can ask yourself, why is it so choppy? Why is it looking so crazy like this? Well, look at the shares, right? Shares are on Thinkorswim is shares outstanding, right? So that's a little bit higher than float. It's actually still a really good gauge. This is actually higher than float. You can see that's less than 2 million shares. That means it's less than 2 million float, which means this is extremely volatile. That's when you're going to see crazy candles like this, right? But this bear flag that I'm seeing on a low float stock, if you're looking for bear flags on it, just look for those same type of bear flags or bull flags. A bull flag's a bull flag, guys. A bear flag's a bear flag. I'm showing you this on a 1 minute chart. If you want to slow it down, look for these patterns on a 5 minute. If you can't intraday trade and you're not an intraday trader, look for that on an hourly or a daily chart. If you're not a short-term swing trader and you're more long-term, let's say like a long-term trader like Tim, pull this up on a weekly or a monthly chart. Look for the same bull flag or the same bear flag. Does that make sense to you guys? That's because you want, Scotty says, just thought about why I'm watching you on YouTube and haven't signed into Bullish Bears. Go figure. Because you're looking at my beautiful face today. You want to see my beautiful face this morning. Frog, I wouldn't recommend you buy any stock for $100. You have to look at the patterns, bud. Gotta look at the patterns. We do real-time alerts, but we're trying to teach you this stuff, not tell you where to place your money. That's the risk. It's very risky. But we do. Let's take a look, speaking of which, some larger cap stock. Let's see what they're doing today from our watch list. Before I go on, does these bear flags, bull flags make sense? If you just look at this, guys, if you just only traded bull flags or bear flags, that's your best shot. If you want the least risk management, these small little candles off moving average line as your risk is really the smart way to go. Exactly. Creed says, don't buy anything unless you have a detailed trade plan. Exactly. So let's go take now that it's a little bit after 10 o'clock. Creed, did you do your 10 a.m. funny today? So Roku from the watch list. Did I get... Oh, man. See, I messed up again, guys. See, these stupid... I'm so annoyed with Thinkorswim lately now. These two alerts were supposed to be... They're all supposed to be at or above. Son of a... Oh, that pisses me off. These are all supposed to be above, and Thinkorswim frickin' changed them on me. That's where you got to be careful of alerts, guys. Ay. This really pisses me off. When you set up alerts, this is where, this is why our alerts didn't go off. This is where guys watch this stuff. Just look at what I write here. So you'll see. Damn it. Right here. See how it says all three of these are at or below? It's supposed to say at or above. Make sure you read the notes over here. So these were all supposed to go bullish. Son of So make sure you read the notes. Thinkorswim does that. You'll do a freaking, like, you'll activate an alert sometimes, and then they'll put below as you're putting it above. Super annoying. Awesome, Scotty. Yeah, take our options course. We have tons of courses to help you out. So now that I just got triggered on my own stuff here, let me take a look at it. All right, so see that, guys, right? So I was right on my alert. Freaking Thinkorswim, son of a, right here. So this was at or above, and what is it doing? Right? It is at or above. So now you want to see, is Baidu going to clear that 120 level? If you guys watch the Watchlist video, you'll hear me saying that 120. And let's take a look at a 1 minute. So here was your bull flag right here. If you were trying to trade a 1 minute, you got to be careful with these large gaps. They're a lot more volatile in the morning, but you had a smaller one right here. And then as it gets out here, you guys see, once it's out in no man's land here now. So this gets a lot, these day trading options on a large cap like this, if you're not getting smaller candles near support, it can be very risky. But my whole point being with this one, I personally like the 5 minute chart, so I slow things down, put it to a 5 minute chart, and I am like, at this point, I'd want to see a 5 minute hold above 120.41. So at this point, you don't buy at the top, let it retest, let it break out, see if it retests and holds 120.40s. Then I'd look for a possible entry, because you can see on the daily, this has some potential room. If you watched our watch list video, so now at this point, if it can get above that area, you can see right in there, that top of that candle, 120, I'd say 50 area. If it can, it's got some room up, let's say 121.62 resistance, and it kind of goes up a little bit in there. So those that were paying attention on this one, just look at it's at or above, right? So you want to see it clear above that 120.40s. Let's look at Roku, Thene's favorite. And this was another at or above. So remember, guys, we're looking at patterns, right? Where's the bull flag? On a 5 minute chart, I'd still be on my hands, right? So technically with Baidu, I still probably wouldn't have gotten in. Some people may have risked off the smaller candle. It's just not my style. I want to see a bull flag. I just like bull flags. Roku, where's the bull flag? No bull flag. So actually, my alerts might go good. They might go bearish. We'll have to see. Nike, that was another one at or above. And as you guys can see, where's the bull flag? So actually, my alert's about to go bearish. Maybe I got saved on my alerts today, right? You need to learn how to make options entries. Yeah. So there's so many different ways to trade options. There's so many different ways. There's day trading, there's swing trading them, there's long term. You can day trade calls and puts on weekly options, or you can trade short-term spreads. You can go longer term. It's just, you have to find the niche and the strategy that's right for you. Just kind of, if you're day trading them, they have kind of like a volatility of almost like a low float stock. So if you get a good or a bad entry on a 1 minute chart, they're going to be quick. The volatility of the options contract is going to go up and down very quickly, like it would on a low floater. That's where you have to just kind of pick your strategy. That's why me personally, I like the 5 minute chart setups, because I like to let it play out, form a 5 minute setup, give a small little bull flag, possible breakout entry, or a bear flag if I'm going bearish, and then risk off small candles, right? So something like this, I personally don't totally like that, but see how they're a little bit smaller, right? It's kind of going up. I don't like this because it's holding the 9 EMA, but like, you know, if you're looking at VWAP, smaller candle, you can see it's smacking off VWAP. You might look at a short. You guys see that kind of a bear flag below those green dots, VWAP, and now it's failing. So my alerts may have done, you know. Nadine. Hello, Nadine. Sorry, guys. I'm not the best when people private message me. It's I don't know how to see all these things on my... I can't figure out how to click this yellow. Dan's going to have to show me. Guys, if you private message me, I can't figure out how to do this thing. Oh, there it is. It's right in front of me. Never mind. What's up, Nadine? It actually pulled up right in front of my face. It was right there. What's up, Rum Trader? All right. So, sorry, guys. I just went on a bunch of tangents. So, SPY, if we pull up SPY, you can see SPY is bullish today. It's getting up near to... Come on. It's breaking all-time highs, guys. Now you got to see it if it's going to hold right up in that 312.77. Let's go to the hourly. Actually, I would look right up here. So I want to see it clear that 313.13 area. If it can't, then it might form a double top. All right, guys, let me slow it down here, see if there's anything from the watch list or what's running today. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to show you here. I'm going to go through some larger, you know, some from the watch list and from the morning scan. I have a 5-minute chart set up. It's about 50 minutes into the market. Let's go find and see if there's any bull flags or bear flags. You can see clearer bear flags, right? So you can see Jan went up, choppiness. Now you see, you know, that's a cleaner bear flag. Now you got to watch over here. Is it going to form another bear flag? Got to watch and see, right? So that you can see the choppiness over in here. Now a little bit cleaner, right? SRNE from earlier. Remember we were talking about this one pre-market? See, it hasn't, it's just failed, and now you have this diagonal maybe forming a cup pattern. It's not clean, so there's no real clean pattern yet there. AQST. So this is where I would kind of I would look at this one a little bit more, right? Choppier down here, but now I'm going to see, okay, will this form, got to watch, let these 5-minute candles form. It's above the 50 and the 200 SMA. See if it gives a possible cleaner. If it gives you a smaller candle and these moving average lines catch up, you might look and see, okay, is that going to be a bull flag? Let the 5-minute pattern form, right? Still got the choppiness. You have some resistance right around that 780s. And this is where you got to be careful, right? There's lots of resistance in here. So just because there might be a possible bull flag, be aware of the resistance on the way up. Clovis. So this is where I would look at this one a little bit more as well. Oops. But you guys see, it's just, it still has that kind of that symmetrical triangle-ish. But you can see these ones, right? They're smacking right up against. I don't mean, again, I want to see something clear, right? So I would like to see maybe like right, possibly in here, right? And this is where I say you got to be quick, right? There's kind of a cup handle. As this thing breaks out, you know, you got to take your profits, right? So on this one right here, there's not, it's all kind of a yo-yo choppiness to me. Some people would say, hey, I'm going to take a trade above VWAP like this, you know, and use VWAP, you know, as close. But if they missed it up here, then they may have got shook out down here. I like to let it go, come back, retest, possible flag. If it breaks above 918, then, you know, in this area, 918, you get 10 cents out of this. I'd consider taking my profits, you know, on these ones that are very volatile. That's on a 1 minute setup. On a 5 minute, go back in here and you'll see it's volatile, right? There's really no, I don't love it. Coop. This one, possibly, I would take a look at this one. So now when you start to look, this is like the ones from our watches, right? This is where you got to keep an eye on these. It may be possibly setting up right here. This may kind of do, this may be looking to break out. The only problem with that, guys, is number one, look at the volume. It needs more volume, and it's only got 250,000. This could also mate, you could say, oh, that's a flag or a pennant, but then it also might be a head, left shoulder, a head and shoulders, right? So that's why I'd like to see smaller candles. I'd like to see some volume. Let's see where that's putting us. Yeah, so I'm not a, like to see, again, not a big fan of that, but this is where you could get tricked out. You know, you guys see though, this is a higher float stock, goes up, comes back. I want it, this is where I would start to really look. This is the stuff I like to start to see. I'd like to see it cleaner, not like kind of like the head and shoulder setup, but smaller kind of candle. Like to see the volume build more. And then if it gives an entry, I like to see a smaller candle, and then I have a guide, right? Now it's only 1350 to 1360. There's 10 cents. We'll have to see. But this is the stuff I'm starting to look at. And as you can see, right, it forms a green candle. Now it needs to get above that 1350 area. If it can go 1350, then use 1360 as resistance, right? But this is kind of more of the idea. I don't love this, but I like to see it go up, come back, let the pattern shake out, give me my idea of risk, and then, you know, it's, I can see 1350 down to 1340s, right? That's 10 cent candle. 1350 up to 1360 is 10 cents. So that's like a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. I don't think I would necessarily take that. You want to see at least 2-to-1. But, you know, at this point now it's breaking above, or it's hitting 1350 area. If 1350, see that? It kind of sneaks up and then it kind of comes back down. So, you know, again, you want to have at least a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio and get more volume. And this is where it gets trickier, guys, because there's not a lot of volume in this. And you'll see the gaps. There's, you know, kind of a lot of gaps in this. There's not a lot of volume. But this, to show you guys for 1 minute, go back to the bull flag kind of thing we're talking about. This is a pennant and then a breakout. So you guys see, if this had more volume in it, this is the stuff you're looking for. Move up, small little candle, breaks out, take your profits. Stock goes up, comes back, breaks out, take your profits. You guys see that? 1, kind of 2, and then it breaks up or breaks down. But you want to see volume. You'd like to see at least several 100,000 up near 1 million. This making sense to you guys? Where do you see the volume? Right at the bottom down here. So you'll see volume candlesticks. And then I have just a volume tab set up on Thinkorswim. So you can see volume over here. under 500. Yeah, ideally, you'd like to see a million or above. But sometimes, you know, when it starts creeping up, you know, into 750,000, it might be setting up for a possible, you know, breakout area. So I wouldn't sleep on that, depending on how many shares you're looking to get. Whew. Guys, I'm trying to catch my breath. I'm tired here. This is exhausting. Talking nonstop. We should just pump and dump stocks to you guys instead. Would you guys be cool if we do that? Just pump stocks to you guys? It'd be so much easier. It's so much easier than teaching nonstop. What do you think, Trader Room guys? Can we just be stock pumpers? It'd be a lot easier. You guys cool with that? All right, so BlackBerry. So this is something I would take a look at, right? So it's trading sideways, not really great at the moment, nearer to highs, but now I would start to see, okay, is this, you can see the moving average lines are crossing, possible cup and handle. It's a larger name stock, it's a larger cap stock. This is where I would look at this further. Are these moving average lines going to separate? Possible cup and handle to see if there's a possible, you know, 5-minute intraday possible breakout formation. This is where I would look into it a little bit more, right? You see how you get more time on these bigger name stocks? And I have a 5-minute, I would just have this chart set up and keep an eye on it. It could fail. That's why I'm waiting for the 5-minute to close and see if it'll form a possible flag. Let these moving average lines separate and see if it'll break out above that 565. And then on a daily, again, that 5, and then it's 575 area. If it can get above and clear that 575, then you have some room to 6. What do I think of AMD? Nadine. All right, so AMD, so when you're talking about bull flags, it gets remember I was telling guys, right? So kind of this plays out on, you know, the other daily charts as well, right? You can see, remember I was saying the first, second bull flag and then be careful after the third. You can see a few kind of bull flags in here, kind of like in here, right here, and then kind of in here. But as it's building, you can see the RSI is getting overextended, right? So now, as it's way out here, it's another possible bull flag. However, you guys see how it's a lot crazier. It's way overextended. It's not as clear as this bull flag down here. You can see this is a really nice bull flag. A little bit more riskier, right? This is a nice kind of setup, perfect down here. It's a little riskier. Now over here, right, you want to see it clear that doji candle right here. It's creeping, but now it's just, you got to be careful. It's got to clear and hold that candle. You know, it could still go up. This is, you just get very riskier on something like this. This is where you'd intraday trade it, go down, and you can see. So it's got the choppiness now right here in the morning. It had a breakout. You know, so at this one right now, I'd watch, and I would just let and see. You know, see if a small little candle holds, gives you a potential for it to possibly break out. It's just, you can see, guys, right? The volatility of it. Everybody's looking at it. It's a lot more riskier when it's at all-time highs. Watch for a 5-minute setup. See if it gives you a small candle hold. And if it breaks out, just look at resistance areas above. So Nadine says we can't pump and dump to you guys. Come on, guys. Don't you guys want to see me, though? Like, put my nice little take some nice little selfie pics, or we can get a nice professional photographer. Get 100,000 on my brokerage account, scalp 10 cents to you guys, have $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 days. And then I could do like my thumbs up, smiling at you, like great day. So we could do a shot like this, like that, smiling with my thumbs up. And then when I have my loss, right? If I have a loss day and I lose, it's a great teaching moment to you guys, right? So that's the secret, guys. Here's the thing. If you're a chat room and you pump to people, the good days and the bad days both work in your favor, because if I have a bad day, I could give you my smiley face and my thumbs down. So I can go like this, like it's really bad. I get my frown on my face, and it's a bad day and it's a teaching moment. So either way, I could look good, right? I pump stocks to you, have a great day. Or if I have a bad day and I give my frown face and I put myself on a thumbnail with the frown face, then I show you a video on why I lost. So I win-win either way, right? Put my mug up on either one. Nadine says, wise ass. I mean, is it not true? Tell me where I'm wrong, right? Right? That's the game, guys. BlackBerry. Hold on. Let's pull up BlackBerry. Everything's a teachable moment. There we go. See, remember what I was saying to you guys, right? It wasn't as clean as I'd like right here. And it's not, so you guys see too as well, it's super high float. So when these things break out and break down, less of a pump, less of a dump. So at this point, it needs to have that 565 hold. And this might be a smaller grind. Watch and see. We'll just kind of keep an eye on it. But my whole point being, guys, is that whole... I don't know who. That's not who I'm referring to. Right? Who's feeling me, guys? You guys know. You guys know I'm speaking truth to you. You know it's the truth. Beyond is still bullish or bearish? Let's see. So by the way, guys, BB, at this point, you want to see it hold 565. Be aware of 575 resistance. See if these moving average lines will separate. So you can see now 5-minute candle formed. Retesting. See if that holds. So you can look at a 5-minute, or let's look at the 1-minute. Still kind of choppy within here at the moment. So you can see, where is price right now? Right there. So you can see there is those choppiness of those candles right now in the one. So you see the difference, guys, from a 5-minute and a 1-minute? You see how it almost looks like it's a crappy penny stock in a 1-minute right here. Right? It's got to consolidate, let the pattern form. At this point, see if it'll hold that 565. You guys see it's got the choppiness sideways. But then when you look on a 5-minute, it looks a little more normal. So we're looking at all these different patterns. And you can see right here, 5-minute breakout. Watch and see if the 5-minute retest will hold. Then maybe you'd consider getting an entry. If not, you can see the 5-minute's not holding at the moment. But we'll have to see if it will. You know, but you can see with the higher float, you can be in these longer. You know, if you use a candle close below this flag as your stop, you know, you can see it's not a lot of reward, but also not as much risk as well. You can see the candles are a lot smaller. When these high floaters, when they pump, they might pump up 5 or 10 cents. When they dump, they might dump 5 or 10 cents, right? Beyond, let's see. Not looking good at the moment. Yikes. Beyond meats. Look at some support around. Right around that 70, whatever that is. 74 bucks. That's a head and shoulders. Head, left shoulder, right shoulder, all the way down to the neckline. And then after that, you can see some support down here on 60. Not looking good at the moment. So it's not looking, it is bearish. Pedro it's bearish, but watch and see if this area right here, that's 73.60s, if the buyers will come back in and hold it. And it's below the moving average lines on the daily. This one's definitely struggling. So yeah, right down there. See that? See if they come in, they buy it back up there, and then use the moving average lines as resistance. Potentially, it's also got a right here as well, that 76 area right here. So sometimes if you go to short something, as it's falling, it snaps back up. That's where you ideally want to see it, like, you know, and try to see a good example. I guess it's moving back to the moving. So right, you ideally want to kind of short it as it's smacking. You can see bear flag. This is an hourly chart, but as an example, like if it was a 5-minute setup and it smacks off here, you're short at the top on the way down. Whereas you got to be careful down here, because many times if you start to short it here, it'll snap back up, right? CLDR. I think that was one from our watch list. So this is what I was telling you guys, right? These are ones that just kind of creep for a while. Sometimes you just got to like, it's not doing nothing, anything. This is where like you kind of look right now, you know, it's a high floater. Didn't do anything all morning. Not doing much right now. This may be setting up a potential. We got to see a possible red to green move. And if so, it's not great. It's not like a great mover, but it's a slower grind. Let me go under the daily chart. And I was showing you guys right here, if it can kind of break above that 950, you know, that 950, then you have that 960, 965 level. And if it continues up, there's a couple daily gaps. But, you know, it's kind of grinding. This is where, like, one of those things where just kind of keep an eye on these, right? I'm just kind of going to see if they're forming. Right now, it's not really great. But you never know. Like, so if this holds red to green, gives you a small little play. I'm not saying to do this, but it could give you a small possible, you know, 5 to 20 cent move potentially. You know, you could see pre-market high at 565. If the moving average lines cross and this forms a cup and handle and it can get above 950, it could be a slower grind. It's just a way to scalp, you know, potentially scalp. You know, if you're day trading, guys, you're not trying to hit home runs. You're trying to get those 10, 15, 20 cent scalps, right? But, you know, sometimes those 5 to 10 cent scalps on a bigger stock using a 5-minute setup, you know, if you had 10, you know, 3,000 shares, you scalp, you know, 5 cents, that could be a couple $100, you know, 150, $200, slowly grow your account using a 5-minute setup. Not saying to trade this right now, but just these are the things to keep a lookout throughout the day. I still don't love it, but Uber, let me see. So this is where I would start to look at it, right? Right in here, possible cup pattern, maybe forming a handle. Right below that orange dotted line, which is red to green. So just because something looks like a cup and handle, it could also fail as well. So at this point, watch and see. Remember I was telling you about bull flags? See if this price holds and forms a possible bull flag off that 9 EMA. And then if so, maybe it'll go red to green. Let's look at the daily chart. You have a morning star in the daily. That's bearish. However, it may form a potential flag off. You can see it bounced off the 9 and the 20 on the daily. So now this may form a possible cup and handle on the daily. Let's look at the hourly. Impossible cup pattern on the hourly. So, you know, this, again, look at that previous close, if these moving average lines can cross and push price up, this is where it gets tricky, guys, right? You can see a possible cut pattern, which you can think is bullish, but then you can see a left shoulder and a head up here, and this could be a right shoulder. So this could be a head and shoulders, and it can fail, or it could break out. The whole key is that you want to see it hold that red to green and continue up if you're bullish on it. So at the moment, it could go either way. That's where if I zoom in on intraday on a 5-minute, it's bouncing right off that 9 EMA. If it gives you a small candle and it's a possible bull flag, if you were to risk on it, you would use a candle close below this area as your stop, knowing that you want to see it clear that red to green. Is Baba waiting for a breakout? Let's see. Baba. Potentially. So right here, this is another thing, guys, right? So you can see, is that a ascending triangle, or is it a head and shoulders, or is it a double top, right? So you could look at it and say, oh, that's ascending triangle. Or it could be a left shoulder or a left shoulder head, right shoulder, or it could form a double top. All you know at this point, it's got to clear that 190. So you want to see that 190 break and hold. And then if it breaks 190, you can see it's got some room up to 195. And then there's some right around that 192, between 192 to 195. But bottom line, has to break above 190. And then you can see some support right around this 188-ish area. So, and as you can see, it's kind of tricking you out a little bit up in here. So at this point, I would watch for it to see if it can break above 190 and hold. I keep seeing in the private chat, just Nadine's message me, call me a wise ass. How do I know if it's going to hold above 190? I look at the charts. I watch and see if it breaks above 190, which it hasn't yet, and then I watch for a retest of 190. There's no way to guess it. That's why it's risk, reward, right? If you buy at the top here, it's risky. If you got off of one of these candles, like, there's not really clear hammers on here. I like to see cleaner hammers. But ideally, if you were to go off of one of these and you risked above one of these 5-minute candles, if it starts to fail one night, this is where it could smack up, come back down, and do a yo-yo effect. This is where, you know, if you get in, you could be trapped sitting there for a while, and then you got to decide, hey, am I gonna stay in? Am I gonna, risk a candle close below here as my stop? Or, hey, this is showing weakness. I can see some potential reversal candles. I'm gonna get out. So if you get an early entry on anticipation of the break, if it doesn't break out, you have some chance to get out many a times. But the other time is if you don't get a good entry down over here, watch and see if it breaks out and holds. Right now it's risky because this could easily smack down from 189.90s down to the moving average lines, right? So you either get the earlier entry, down here, down in here. So you can see this candle's a little bit better than this one. It's a little choppier here. And this is where people get caught, right up in that important resistance area. And now it's just, you can see there's a possible double. This could be double top or a triple top failure, or it can turn into an ascending triangle. But at this point, you want to just let this thing see if it'll break above 190, retest and hold 190, then you would consider getting in. Or on a 5-minute, if you let it go back up, let the 9 EMA catch up below 190. This thing might, take a little bit, give a 5-minute setup, might reject up here, come back down, form an ascending triangle off that 9 EMA in a 5-minute. Then you might get a chance to get in there. But right now, it's too risky. It's at resistance. Andrew, what EMAs do I use for day trading? That blue line you see on my screen is the 9 EMA. The red line's the 20 EMA. The pink line is the 50 SMA. And the black line is the 200 SMA. Those green dots are VWAP. And the orange dots are previous close. If you don't like the 9 and the 20, you could also use the 13 EMA. So you don't need all three. So either use the 13, which is the 13 EMA would be an in-between of the 9 and the 20, or you can use the 9 and the 20. But just picture like if price starts falling in between these right here, just assume that's probably the 13 EMA right in between. You're welcome, John. And good old Clovis, huh? So see, this is where you guys gotta, this is where we, if I was able to just go quiet and pump stocks to you guys, it'd be so much easier. Because I see Clovis, looks like it moved up earlier. So you guys see this, right? This is what we were showing earlier, setting up, right? So this is where there's, let's go to that 1 minute. All right, you guys see that? Remember we had those trend lines drawn? And you kind of see right in here, it got smacked out, came back down, came around, right? So let's remove, these are what we had on earlier, right? We'll just keep them there. Trend lines are key, guys, right? If you go back to what I was showing you guys earlier, look at that trend line right here. Here's what happened. Kind of went out, broke out, came back down right here. If you didn't get in right here, you had one more chance right here. And then there you go. There's your play. Bull flag after it's breaking out. Small little entry. Remember 950 that we had, that whole dollar amount. And then there you go. So now you could, at this point, as it's breaking out above 930s, anywhere above is a chance to take your profit. So you could wait to see if it's going to break 950, which was right up over here, or you could wait for a candle close below the 9 EMA. And so here you guys go, right in there. There's your bull flag. Here was your second bull flag. Right there. Hammer right off here. Take your profits. 938 to 950. There's a 12-cent move. Take your profits. Get out. Now it's pulling back. This is the stuff you're looking for, guys. It's that 10, 15-cent move. If you're trying to hit 50-cent trades every single day, day trading, you're going to blow up your... just forget it. It's just not going to happen. You get those maybe a couple times a month, but this is the stuff you're looking for each day. These little bull flag breakouts. Buy the flags. Sell the top of flag pulls. Buy the flags. Sell the top of flag pulls. Scalp your, just because you want a stock to break out 10 cents doesn't mean it's going to break out 10 cents. It might break out 6 cents. It might break out 5 cents. Look at these candles, right? You can see, stock breaks out on the flagpole. It couldn't break above here. That's a potential tweezer top, right? Tweezer top. Tweezer top. Back down. Doesn't mean it's going to crash, but this is where you'll see many times people get in and they look at these candlesticks. You can see that small little doji, no surprise, right below a $50 amount. So if you're in down here, 938, you get out at 948. That's a 10-cent move off a bull flag, risking that small little flag. You guys see that? Breakout, minute or two, right below whole dollar amount. You have that doji, take your profit. Now you can see it's crazier over here. It's a lot more difficult to trade it, and it's also getting closer to 11 o'clock. Andrew, what are you saying? Why don't you use EMAs on all? What's the difference? It's just too many lines. I just know, So perfect example, like right in here, that blue line's the 9, that's the 20. I know if price is caught in between there, it's probably right around the 13 EMA. It's in between these two. These are just the most popular. The 9 and the 20 and the 50 and the 200 are most popular. Again, some people, if they want to get rid of some lines, they don't have the 9 and the 20, they use the 13. This is what I wanted to show you guys as well, is like, this is where a lot of people could get shook out, where they can see before that candle started falling, oh, that's a bull flag, it's going to break out. And then look what happens. It smacks right back down, right? That's why having these 5-minute intraday pattern, you know, seeing what's happening on a 5-minute chart is important. You can see it kind of breaks out. It's right below VWAP. So that's where many times these 5-minute candles, be aware when a 5-minute bullish candle forms, a lot of times on that second candle, it pulls back and gives half the candle or so before it either goes and breaks out or breaks down. And you see this 5-minute pattern today is a mess on the Jan. Let's pack another one. 5-minute I don't like. Let's look at the 1 minute. No. So there you go. There was a... We were talking about SRNE, right? So SRNE, you can see there was a couple pops this morning. You had your one, kind of your bull flag right here. Remember I was saying buy the flag, flagpole, you know, sell the flag. Breaks out above 237. You know, now you're considering selling, right? 1 minute later, and now you're up here taking your profits. You know, above hot, you know, kind of right up in this area here. You guys see? Right here. Resistance is coming across right here. Resistance coming across. So people are probably buying the small little flagpole breakout. 238 goes up. It's not breaking above. Now it's questioning right here. It's rejecting below a $0.50 amount of 250. So, you know, anywhere between that 248, 250, people are taking their profits. Bull flag breakout, take your profits. And you can see indecision. If you wait for a candle close below here, it could easily smack down, right? So there's your flag breakout. Flag breakout. Sell the top of these flags, flagpoles. Be aware of that whole $0.50 amount right up here. This is day trading, guys, right? Flag breakout. Look at the candles. Now, again, it's near 250. Right here, it's either going to triple top fail or it's going to break out. 250, very important level. This is warning you in here. Could it break out? Yes. So you can say, hey, well, what if I sold here? I sold too soon. Well, that happens all the time. All the time in day trading. You know, sometimes you'll get a fake out candle and then it'll break out. Or other times you'll see here, I stayed in, this is great. And then boom, this thing could easily smack right back down off 250 all the way back down. And then you give all your profits back. Buy at support, sell at resistance. Right? Buy low, sell high. Newbies, the new traders, are buying out here at resistance. So at this point, you watch for a possible flag back off the 9 EMA for an entry, or let it break out over 250 and see if it forms a flag and holds 250. See that? Now kind of let it reset. So 250, very important resistance. You can see some support right around here, that 244, right? So let's zoom out, and then right up in here, right? So anywhere between this 264, right in here, there's no man's land out here. So it can easily pump up or it can dump back down. So now watch for the flag, right? So you can see Is it going to form a flag or is it going to fail? See that? Dumping right back down. You don't want to see that if you're bullish. This is why newbies, you don't buy out here. Resistance, just like I just told you guys. Triple top failure right back down. Now, crappy looking. It's not a nice bull flag like this. That's because this is what happens. Go back to what I'm saying to you guys entire stream. This is what happens right here. Chat room pumper gets their position, buys their 10,000 shares on the bull flag. Hotkeys in. Their followers right here buy their shares. So they buy the flag breakout, stay in for a minute or so, and then they say sold SRNE at 250. And you're like, I don't know what a hotkey is. How do I do my limit order? How do I buy this right now? And then you're fumbling around because you're new. You don't know what the hell you're doing. And then you just bought the shares out here because you were trying to figure out how to put your order in because you're new. You don't know what the heck you're doing. You're trying to get rich quick in the stock market. You're listening to some guru. You don't know what a doji candle it is. So you're like, let me figure out this order because this guru just got in the trade. I got to buy it. Meanwhile, it takes you a minute or two to put the order in. Chat room guru sells out here. You bought up here. Chat room guy just made $1,000, $2,000 on the day, maybe more. And you just bought the shares up here and now you're freaking out. Buy at support, sell at resistance. Now watch for the reset. Now you guys can see. You guys see how it's not as clear now? Because everybody's watching this thing now. Breaks out. Now it's going to be a lot more volatile. It's not as clean of bull flags. Could it still break out? Yes. It's going to be a lot more. You can see that fake out. A lot of people probably got in right here, and now they're kind of caught in between here. And it's also 11 o'clock. So, this is where you got to decide, okay, am I going to stay in, see if it's going to stay holding at 244, or am I going to get out if it falls back down? Now it's trading sideways. Everything's a gauge, guys. Nothing is perfect. VWAP isn't perfect. Moving average lines are not perfect. Again, they're very, very important guides of support and resistance. VWAP fails all the time. Moving average lines fail. It's just, you still want to you want to use them as a guide and not have it be foolproof, right? That's why you want to see the pattern. Even patterns fail all the time, right? But your best shots are find these bull flags. You can see here's one bull flag. You had your breakout, take your profits. If you go back earlier, let's see, is there any other good bull flags? Not really. You may have thought about potentially on this one. Potentially. It's not as clean, right? You have that diagonal in the wind, bounces. And then there you go. You have 1 minute. Less than 1 minute. Breaks out above 235, 244, and you're probably getting shook out right in here. So, there's your 5 to maybe 10 cent move. And that's it. And it looks like Clovis still might be trapping people, let me say. All right, you guys see how it broke out above 950? And now it's like it's showing reversal back down on the moment. So now 950, so let's reset. This is a 1 minute chart. Broke out now 950 is very important resistance level. So you guys see it broke out. This is a 1 minute chart. Not really clean on the bull flags. This had kind of right in here. You could say maybe this is an ascending triangle, but you could be shook out in those doji candles. Now, if you wanted to, this is where I was saying, right? Watch and see if it breaks out above 950 and watch for a retest. Now you can see there's 950. Now it's retesting 950. See if it can hold. Now is here is where it's kind of like do or die time on a 1 minute. You're going to see, is it going to hold? Right? Let's take a look at a 5 minute chart. So see how like where the 1 minute could look good and the 5 minute could be very risky because it's above, it's further away from these 9 EMAs, right? So now you got to decide. It's very, it's a bit overextended. It could easily smack back down. The 5 minute candle hasn't formed, and no surprise, the 9 EMA is right back at that previous doji candle. So now you either wait for a 5 minute setup to form for a cleaner entry, or you're going on a 1 minute chart and you're just scalping like crazy really quick. You're like hot key in, hot key out. But the problem is right now on a 1 minute, it's not as clean. These moving average lines are starting to trade sideways. As well as, remember guys, it's 11 o'clock, so this makes it a lot more of a challenging time to trade. So guys, I am done today. Hopefully I helped you guys. I'm exhausted from talking too much. Now I'm going to go maybe have a nice lunch at some point. Maybe go to Trader Joe's. Anybody have a Trader Joe's near them? Go to Trader Joe's, buy some food for a couple days for the week. You're welcome, Rum Trader. Probably not a lot. I don't have to buy a lot of food because I go to family for Thanksgiving. Have a nice big Thanksgiving dinner. Then get some leftovers. Maybe Friday night, Black Friday, I'll get some pizza. Guys, there's great news. They're now doing Black Friday sales much earlier online. So last couple days, my shopping addiction, this time of year is not good for my shopping addiction. And there was a really nice sale at Banana Republic. Let's give Banana Republic a nice little shout out. Let's see if they're still having a sale. I'll show you guys the jeans I bought. Oh, they have a 25% off there. But, so to show you guys, here's an example because I know the sales. I went to the men's traveler jeans. And here's what happened. So, look at this. So here's a perfect example of why I know the sales, right? So the traveler jeans are typically $120, $129. But there's some times of the year they do great sales. And so right here, so look at the Slim Traveler jean. I wasn't paying $120 for these. And so there's 40% off. So what happened was Saturday, I purchased a few pairs and there was 40% off plus 10% off. Then Sunday, they did a little upgraded sale and they did 40% off and then 20% off. So I repurchased again. So I purchased again after they did the other order. So I'll take my original order and then I'll return it. So it was 40 plus 20. And here you go. You get snuck off. Now there's only 40% off. So I saved an extra 20% off yesterday because I know the sales. They're getting sneakier now with these companies. They do a lot of the sales the weekend before Black Friday. And many times I'm actually noticing the past couple of years, you get your better deals like the weekend before Black Fridays, and then you don't even have to go to the stores. So, by the way, these are very comfortable jeans. And I'm losing weight, so I'm trying to get I think I'm a size 34 now. I might have to get my 32s back from Dan. So Dan, if you're listening, I might need my 32s back. So all right, guys, I'm going to start to wrap it up. If you're not a member of our community yet, you're crazy. We obviously guys, this is nonstop for 2 hours trying to help you guys out. Go find this somewhere else. You're not going to find it. You know what you're going to find in the chat room? They're going to pump and dump to you. I'm telling you, if you've been around the industry for any length of time, that's what happens. Pumping and dumping, right? Buy the shares, dump to our followers. We don't do that. So anyways, that's the stream for today. We have a day trade room. We do swing trade futures. Come and join us. And if you're listening on YouTube live right now, It's a delayed stream. Our trade room gives real time. So we have real time teaching in there. We also do our watch list daily over here. We do real time trade alerts. These are more for like option spreads. We try to give you time to get in and out of the trade with our real time alerts. So that's why you won't see necessarily, we don't always put the ones on our watch list in our real-time alerts, because the ones on our watch list, they get a 1 or day move, sometimes 1 or 2 days, and then we get out. We try to give you time to basically get in and out of the trade. So there's our real-time trade alerts, and then our trade alert setups, which are the ones from our watch list over here. If you know how to trade and do them yourself, you'll see I put the alerts that's why I was telling you guys, just make sure when you look at them, read the notes, because Thinkorswim changes the up or down levels, and many times I miss them. I got to be better at catching them, but read the notes, right? And then we have thousands of dollars worth of courses over here. If you're new to the stock market, don't be lazy. Put the time in, treat it like an education, treat it like you would like another career. If you're trying to get rich quick in the stock market, you're going to blow up your account and be like 90+% of the traders. Don't be a whiny little baby and blame the market when you lose money in the stock market. It's not the market's fault, it's your fault, right? It's your fault. Every trade you make is your decision. It's not the market's fault. The market's not against you. The market's not trying to take your money. Right? It's the market goes up and down. It's a combination of bulls and the bears duking it out every day. The market doesn't care about your feelings. Doesn't care how you feel about it. Right? It's support, resistance, patterns. Every decision you make in the stock market is yours and yours alone. The market's not out to get you. Right? So if you win on a trade, it's your fault. If you lose on a trade, it's your fault. Everything is in your hands. And this is what we teach every day, guys. The goods and the bads. Today was It's much harder, again, because I'm for 2 hours nonstop talking to you guys. It's much harder to focus because answering questions and blah, 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 blah. It'd be so much easier to pump and dump to you guys, but that's not what we're about. So if you want to give us a shot, you can try us out. We have a 14-day trial, or if you're ready to go, we have some discounts available for you on our website. Link will be below. So, all right, guys, YouTube, I'm about to shut it down. Trade Room, guys, I'll say goodbye to you guys. Maybe I'll choose a song. I haven't thought of a song choice today, but maybe I'll think of one for you. All right, guys, is there... RL has a very good question. So, RL, yes, there is. I'm going to answer your question in code RL. There is a deal. What I would do if I were you, if you want to know what it is go up to any of these up here and then just click on any of the pages below. So RL, just click on any of these and then just click on any of these below, and then you might get a surprise. I think you might like the surprise. Oh, there it is. That was a hint. That was your quick move. All right, guys, you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll catch you later. Enjoy.